Well, I too am both humbled and delighted to receive this honor today. I'm humbled because I'm aware of my own intellectual limits, but also because I rely so heavily on my research teams, my students, and my family. But I'm delighted because the award recognizes the importance of a field of study, which is relatively new, a set of practices, and a political issue, which is central to our global and our digital citizenship in the 21st century. And I salute the university for taking this on board as an important issue. So allow me just a moment to speak for this field of study, insofar as I'm competent to do so, in particular for my research groups based at Queen's University in Canada, and the Surveillance Studies Network. I actually came from the biannual meeting of the Surveillance Studies Network in Barcelona this morning. So I've just left that conference. We study the operations and the experiences of surveillance today, in which personal information is collected and analyzed to influence, to control, to manage, to protect. Surveillance is often necessary, but it is never neutral. Let me just answer a couple of questions that you might have. Why is surveillance so important? Surveillance is a headline issue. It's a hot topic. Google versus the European Union. The FBI versus Apple. Edward Snowden versus the NSA. 9/11 and airport security, drones, body-worn cameras, biometrics, you name it. There are so many issues that we hear about and see every day in the news. The list is long, but it isn't just a temporary or a local issue. It's something that will continue to be news tomorrow because it has become part of the fabric of our daily lives in today's digital modernity. There is a surveillance state, a surveillance economy, a surveillance society, but also now a surveillance culture in which we all participate in our everyday lives, every time we go online, every time we use our smartphones. We participate. We are not neutral bystanders in all this. Second, how do we imagine surveillance? People often say, oh, well, I'm concerned for my privacy. Or, alternatively, I don't care about my privacy. I've got convenience. But is it just about me? Or is this really an ethical and a political issue that confronts us in the 21st century? One of my PhD students examines what happens when passengers go through the international airport in Toronto. How do they feel when their data is checked and when they are questioned? Well, she has shown, my PhD student has shown very clearly that those with brown skins are the ones who have the worst experiences of security surveillance in the airports. She shows how they expect to be delayed, to be disadvantaged, and even dehumanized within the airport system, far more than their white counterparts. Surveillance is a global issue of social justice, of human rights, of human dignity. And of course, it's the outcome of this world, this digital modernity that we've made. So now I hope you can see that there's an answer to the third question, which is why should we study surveillance? It's just because it is a public and political issue. It's vital that we should know what's going on. Surveillance studies is a multidisciplinary area. We enjoy the company of people from the social sciences, communication, law, and of course, informatics. It's crucial that we work together. And again, USI sets an example for bringing together different disciplines that need to talk with each other. It has international dimensions too. what we experience in Europe or North America is not what others experience. If I talk to my friends in Latin America, they're concerned about surveillance and urban violence. If I talk with my friends in India, they're concerned about the largest biometric identification card system in the world for more than 1 billion people. If I talk with my friends in South Africa, they're concerned about surveillance through credit scoring, which actually replicates something that looks very like apartheid before 1994. So our European, North American ideas about surveillance and privacy are not universal. So if it's something to do with all of us, how do we actually engage with surveillance today? It's not just a matter for academics and experts in universities. It affects all of us in that our life chances and our choices are affected, but also our contributions to it as we participate in handling and giving data. We urgently have to think about how we develop new practices for life online, fresh forms of digital citizenship, effective ways of challenging the over-collection of data, courageous questioning of government and corporate collaboration. Today's surveillance is liquid. It moves so easily, which means that it's harder to see how those personal data flow and more difficult to know what can be done about their effects. All the more reason for trying to discover ways of understanding and participating positively in change. So I want to acknowledge this university's progressive and committed spirit in making an award to an exponent of something called surveillance studies. I thank God for my life and health and for the opportunity to speak, but especially for my colleagues and my students for what they teach me. And of course, I could hardly forget my life partner. Her name is Sue. She, my children, my grandchildren, I thank them too because I, as you all do, I rely on them for the work that I do. And I could not do it without them and their love. So I'm hoping that we can all find ways to seek for and support appropriate modes of surveillance that fit with human flourishing, that fit with human security, and fit with social justice. Thank you.